What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. A little bit of an impromptu video today, but I got to thinking about the markets and what's happening. We do have the halving coming up quite soon. And, you are starting to notice that shift in the narratives. You're starting to see the altcoins wake up, right? And we have been talking about Bitcoin for a year and a half on this channel, but there's a lot of opportunities right now in the crypto space, and there will continue to be more opportunities. So that's what I wanted to talk about. If we have a look at what Bitcoin is doing right now, it's still kind of consolidating. It's trying to break out of this pennant. There is a potential that we just go sideways into the halving. But speaking of the halving, so this is happening in about 7 days from now, and we were talking about this on my video with Kevin Svensson, which if you guys didn't check it out, I thought it was a really amazing video, had a great conversation with Kevin, and at one part towards the end, he starts talking about the altcoins, right? And basically what happens is you have these cycles. So he was explaining that, after we have the Bitcoin halving, the question is, what is the real narrative for Bitcoin after that? Now, obviously, Bitcoin's narrative speaks for itself. It's the hardest, soundest money on planet Earth. We know this. We've been talking about this for, 7 years on this channel, everyone who's been following. But what happens is once that narrative is kind of over, you still see Bitcoin rise. I'm not saying Bitcoin's not going to go up. I think Bitcoin's going to continue to go up, probably minimally, at least to the end of the year, if we do have that shortened cycle like a lot of people think. But generally, it's right after the halving that you start to see the altcoins really wake up. And that is the time where you can find massive opportunities. Now, yes, there were people talking about altcoins all throughout the bear market. I mean, I guess if you dollar cost average at super crazy low levels through the whole bear market, maybe you're doing okay. But that's not really how I like to play it. And I'm going to actually give you my strategy as well. But as you can see, he points out the similarities on the total 3. And you can see that when we were at this area, that's pretty much right where the altcoins started to take off, and I had a very similar chart myself. You could see that when, the Gaussian channel switched into the green and we have the RSI up around 100 on the market cipher. And we also have a very similar area around 25-ish on the money flow. That kind of puts us, right here. Kind of like right here, somewhere in this area, right? And, obviously, let's just say I'm just gonna pick a number, that went up about 700%. And that was for all of the altcoins in general, right? And you will see a lot of them outpace Bitcoin in the short term, okay? Meaning like this cycle, right? But you definitely don't want to marry altcoins. You just don't want to do that. I mean, if you want to hold through a bear market, you can, but the problem is that a lot of the coins, and even ones that I may potentially be talking about, we don't know if they're going to be around. We don't know if they're going to survive this cycle, right? If you have 100 altcoins, generally speaking, only a handful of those will actually survive to the next cycle, right? So you have to remember to take your profits. Obviously, the best strategy is if you double your money, you just take half back, and then that way, you can have price targets, you can do what you want, but at least you didn't lose your initial capital, right? And my goal has always been to accumulate more Bitcoin. So before we get into that, though, I do just want to mention, if you guys are looking for a new exchange to trade on, Blowfin is actually really getting quite popular. I've seen a lot of people talking about it. I know actually some people on the team, and they are very legit. They're all fully doxed and all that, and it is a no KYC exchange, so we do have a ongoing sort of campaign. If you guys are interested, if you want to use the link below, you guys can get up to $3,500 in bonuses. And again, they have pretty high withdrawal limits. It's no KYC for now. I don't know what'll happen in the future, but this is definitely one to check out. So let me just start again really quick. If anybody doesn't know my opinions on the Bitcoin chart right now, I believe that we're somewhere like we were back here, meeting with the previous all-time high with the top of the pi cycle, and that's where we are today. So obviously once we broke that, level right here, you can see Bitcoin went up about 250%. So I don't know if we're going to go up 250%, but even if diminishing return says we only do half of that, then you should probably be looking for a Bitcoin around the $140,000 area, right? And what I think is just happening is we're retesting the area that I believe that we should have went last cycle. I believe that we should have been out here, to the previous 4.236 area, which we've always covered. We've always blown through that, or at least touched it, and we didn't do it last cycle. So that's what I think is happening. We're having that consolidation. And if you zoom in here, you could see that, yes, there has been a lot of sell pressure from the downside, but that sell pressure seems to be pretty consistent with this Fibonacci extension, whereas the buying on these wicks to the red candles is showing that, they're not letting the price get, like, for example, back here in this week of March 4th, right? You had Bitcoin 59,000, right? Massive wick bought up, right? Then the next one was 60,800, massive wick bought up. Then the next one was 64,000, right? So it seems like they're not letting the price go as low. This is technically a bullish constructive pattern and should suggest that, potentially, yes, we could have corrections, but Bitcoin should theoretically continue to move to the upside. And I do think that after the halving, I'm not saying it's going to go to the moon overnight, but I am saying that I think it should do quite well. So talking about the altcoins, and again, guys, I can't stress enough, do your own research, not financial advice. I talk about things that I'm looking into. There's some people who offer paid groups and stuff. All my stuff is free. And if I am talking about something, it's because I am either allocating to it currently, or I'm planning on buying some at some point. These are, they're not, and I don't get paid to talk about any of this stuff. Like, I don't do sponsorships, nothing like that. So if I'm talking about it, it's because I am personally invested or will be investing in it. And yeah, they're not all going to be winners, right? But I do try my best. I mean, if I'm putting my money where my mouth is, then, but I do like to try to stay away from the meme coins. So my strategy mostly, for those of you who don't know, I hold primarily Bitcoin. That's pretty much, I know it's boring, but for me, it's the safe bet, right? And, if you want to just make, maybe like a 5X or something, or some lower kind of thing like that, you can buy the safe coins, right? You can buy, if you want Dogecoin, you can buy Dogecoin, you can do Solana, BNB, Avalanche, Polkadot's probably going to do well this cycle, Polygon, Chainlink, these are all like sort of the blue chips, right? So these are the safer plays. You're not going to make astronomical gains, but you'll probably make more than if you just held Bitcoin, possibly throughout the cycle. Most likely you will make more. It's not common, but I just don't really dabble in these personally. The things that I look for are really narratives, projects that, there's not like just a hype project in general, but things that I think will do exceptionally well this cycle. And I try to position myself with small percentages of capital into these. I guess you'd call them a little bit more speculative. They're not as matured, I guess, as some of these coins like BNB and Solana and XRP and stuff like that. But the risk versus reward is better for me. So, you could go in all the mid caps and stay out of Bitcoin if you wanted to. And that's probably a decent strategy. My strategy is stay in Bitcoin primarily, okay? But then allocate a smaller percentage to kind of more riskier plays, honestly. Because if I lose that money, I don't really care. I still have all my Bitcoin, but if that can outpace it to like an astronomical level, like you have seen these 100,000 X's, they exist, right? I mean, look what happened with Dog with Hat, right? So these things can happen, and we are not in the euphoria stage yet. Even Kevin Svensson was explaining that, when it gets to the point where you just go like this and you throw a dart, that's when we're not there yet, but I think that you can start positioning yourself into some of these plays, right? So let me just start with this, because this is actually something you guys can get into, and then I'll talk about all the different, not all of them. I mean, there's some altcoins I don't even want to mention on this channel because they're probably just too risky to actually say on a channel. Like, I have some of them in my portfolio, but this is something that Zero Lend is doing. This is a project that's up and coming. I'm pretty excited about this. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're giving away 5 billion Zero tokens. So this is literally something you could just do for free. So you don't have to make, it's just free money, right? So basically you just connect your wallet. I'll leave the link below. Also, normally I wouldn't care about referral links, but if you want to use my link, they give me 20%, but they give you 20% as well. if you don't use a link, you don't get the deal. So you don't have to use my link, but if you just go to this website, you won't get the extra 20%. So it's totally up to you. I'm not trying to take, you don't have to use my link, but if you want, you'll get an extra 20%. And basically, you get these points that'll be converted into ZHII tokens. And it's really simple stuff like join the Discord, borrow assets on the lending. If you have Pith or Manta or a VK holder, there's all these other things you could do. So you can literally just get free tokens. So I'm just gonna let you know about that because that's something you can do right now. Another thing that you can do right now, Lightlink is, and I did retweet this, by the way. If you're not following me on Twitter, I do a lot of mostly retweets, but you can kind of read the cryptic message. If I'm retweeting something, it probably means I'm looking into it or I'm interested. And Lightlink, they're gonna have an NFT node sale. So you could basically take advantage of this over here. And you could join the token distribution on the Forge Foundry. That's in 8 days. And again, if you guys don't remember, Lightlink is essentially going to be a gasless layer 2, which is really kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. But yeah, obviously the fees are getting very high if you use Ethereum specifically. And sometimes you don't have a choice, right? Like I would love to use Polygon or BNB or something else, but sometimes the tokens are not on that chain. Right? Not yet. Maybe everything at some point will be multi-universal, right? So definitely check that out. And obviously, just because it's time sensitive, and I'm not a massive meme coin guy, you know that. I tend to steer a little bit clear of them, but they are fun. And Camoto is honestly, okay, so this is being powered and launched by Tencent. It's their first meme coin, and it's a totally fair launch, meaning all of the tokens are out immediately. There's no one holding, you don't have to worry about VCs dumping on you or anything like that. So it is silly, but at the same time, the fact that it is a fair launch, I feel like it actually has the potential to be one of the largest, if not the largest meme coin potentially on the BNB ecosystem, because you saw a lot on Solana, you saw it on Base, right? So this is actually happening very soon, and this is why I wanted to bring this to you guys. So if you're interested, they have stage 1, which is happening on the 12th. That's at Tencent Launchpad. And then stage 2 is the Infinity Stakers, the Tencent token holders, stage 3, and then ZHII stage 4. So you could check this out. It's Camoto.cat. Honestly, it's a meme coin. That's what it is. It's a meme coin. So just being honest, but I'm gonna get some of this honestly, because it just seems like a cool, fair launch, and everybody gets all their tokens at once, and it's on BNB, which you don't really see a lot. So I think that's really cool, and I would definitely check it out. If you're not into meme coins, well, we have a lot of other content on today's video, but I wanted to let you know because this is actually happening tomorrow. So I just wanted to bring that out. Okay, so let's get into some of the serious projects here. So this is Swarm, okay? Swarm Markets. Now, this is a project that I am very bullish on. I cannot hide how bullish I am actually on this project because, you saw Larry Fink coming out talking about real world assets. You saw the excitement behind that. And these guys have actually been doing this for a while. Now, although the terminology may have changed over the years, it used to be more of for example, security tokens, they would call them, right? But really, you're talking about real world assets. So this is really cool, by the way. I'm not trying to oversell this. So Swarm, what they do is you could basically take your crypto and you can get an actual exposure to something. For example, let's say you want to get exposure to BlackRock's ETF or Nvidia, or for example, Coinbase, or they have a whole bunch of other ones here. You can literally go and look at the products if this will load fast enough. Yeah, Apple, there's a whole bunch of other things, Tesla, and you can do this using crypto. So, for most of the traditional people, they would look at this and say, that's stupid. I'm just going to go buy it on the stock exchange. But for a person that's in crypto, and honestly, for a person like me, I would rather just take my crypto and if I wanted to get, exposure to something like Apple or Coinbase or whatever, or MicroStrategy, for example, but I don't feel like going through the whole crazy process. I think this is going to be huge. And if you have a look right here, I wanted to look at this chart. This is a very, very interesting chart. So you could see when they launched back here, and yeah, it was just a big sell-off, right? And it put in this really big double bottom, and currently we're back at these levels again. I, number one, don't think that this is a double top. for first of all. And second of all, I think at this market cap of 75 million, based on the fact that these guys have been around literally since 2021, they're probably one of the earliest really pioneers in the space for what they're doing. I think this token is going to continue to grow. In fact, I think like $1 billion market cap is not out of the question for Swarm Markets. And another thing that's interesting too is if you switch it to market cap, look at how the market cap has actually grown so much exponentially, right? Now, this obviously happens because there's, dilution and all that other stuff, but very, very interesting. So yeah, guys, it's back basically at the all-time high. So I would have a look at Swarm Markets, not financial advice. This is a project I'm very bullish on. Full transparency, I do own this. Actually, everything that I'm talking about, I either own or I'm planning on buying. So, but this one for me is one that I'm going to be holding for a long time. I think that this is only going to mature throughout the narrative. So, I wanted to get like more of a serious one. Now, obviously, if you want something that, is a little bit newer, there's a little bit less data on it. But another project is Soil. Now, we had mentioned Soil at a little bit lower price than this, and it did get all the way up to about $3.69. It looks like it's consolidating. I don't really do a lot of TA, by the way, on really altcoins like this. I just kind of look at trends and stuff. And, it's funny because it was kind of just slowly, grinding along. And then I think it was right around the time we had that Larry Fink real world asset news. That's when you saw all the crypto narrative shift and this project started to take off. Now, this is a newer project. It's not that new. It's been around since October of last year, so it's not like it's not super new, but it still has a very low market cap. Even after this pump right here, it's still only sitting at about a $20,000 market cap. So, like they say, RWA is taking crypto to another level. That's the view of BlackRock, Bloomberg, etc. So Soil could be a good play. They are a newer player in the game, but it's interesting because they do have all loans collateralized, approved by private debt fund managers, by real world assets, supported by a wide range of legal documents, and they are compliant with regulation, so that's also good. So again, Soil is another one that I would definitely keep my eye on, and I think even if it had a little bit, even if we came back down to the bottom of the range, maybe around the low $2 area, I think that could be a buying area. I'll be quite surprised if it came back down here, because this is like, you could see it pumped, but I mean, it had a natural grind up until that point. So there's nothing really too crazy about the way this chart looks, right? The other one that we had mentioned was Game GPT. And this is kind of like a double whammy, right? Because this has both AI and gaming combined. And if we actually come over here, it did have actually a lot of the altcoins kind of had a bit of a sell-off, but this was up at around, 3 cents, and now it's down to 2 cents. So you're getting a nice discount on that. Obviously pay attention to these areas, but it does look like it did break the parabola, right? So, obviously be careful about that. But again, market cap of $30 million, and, we haven't even really entered that mania phase of the bull. So again, I just have to stress, if you there's a lot of volatility in altcoins, a lot, look at when it had gone up to here, for example, right? It went up here and then crashed all the way back down. There were probably a lot of people thinking that was it. And then it went all the way up again. So, altcoins, they're hard. You're going to have to deal with that volatility, especially if you're refreshing your portfolio every 5 seconds. It's going to be a wild ride, but that's just the name of the game when you're getting into crypto and you're doing these types of things. So, that's obviously another one that I would look to accumulate, and not financial advice, of course, but the thing is these are longer plays. You want to play these at least throughout the bull, right? You don't want to just try to flip these things, and that's when you get caught up because it dumps and then you sell. Let's say you bought it at, for example, let's say right where it is right now. You bought it around 2 cents, and then it came down here and you sold. Well, then you missed this move here. And what if what if it goes back down again, and then now all of a sudden you're up at a $60 million market cap and you're like, crap, why'd I sell? But that's how markets are. Sometimes it's best to just set it and forget it. Like, I'm not saying you should not look at your portfolio, but sometimes it's best to just not look at it. Some of the best investments I've made are ones that I've either actually kind of forgotten about or, just didn't look at it for a while. Because if you're watching the volatility as it's going, you're going to probably get shaken out, right? And you're probably going to end up losing money or doing something stupid, right? Again, no guarantees. These are all speculative altcoins, but that's definitely one I would like to look at. Now, this one's a little bit different. This one is really kind of cool. You guys can see it's a peer-to-peer AI, decentralized AI powered firewall for Telegram. I'm trying to read this as it's going, but in a nutshell, they're basically helping with security. Like for example, here's a post that they had. So they said that in the last few days, big firms and accounts like CertIC have detected a risk vulnerability in Telegram, right? That could lead to remote code execution and malicious attacks through media files. Now, obviously, everything being digitalized, everything being on the internet, especially when you're dealing with crypto, you're dealing with all these types of potential Trojans and scams and things like that. So in this instance, they said by simply downloading files, your Telegram or computer could get compromised, leading to a severe damage to your brand, assets, data, etc. Right? But what is the solution? Well, they have their Hive bot, right? So the Hive bot on ZHII, they say all you do is forward the media files to the bot, and our security AI models will do the rest. Every file will be scanned with the best security models in the market, providing you immediately a full assessment about how safe the file is. So again, this may not necessarily be one of the trending narratives, but it's something that you actually need in the space. Like I said, especially everything going digital. And, again, it looks like they've had pretty organic growth here. Again, lower market cap. These are like the sweet spots for me. Right around these type of numbers are where, the risk versus reward. The reward is definitely higher than the risk. Like the risk is okay, like you lose everything, but the reward is you get those, 50x's, 100x's, things like that. And it's a product that people actually need. So, it looks like it's kind of stabilized around this area. I think even if this goes to maybe like say around 20 cents, I think that would still be a good buy. It had a nice sort of natural curve upward. I like to see that, and then, you saw a little bit of volume pickup. So definitely ZK Hive, I would check it out. Go over to their website. You can see what they're all about here. And I just think that this is just something that you actually need in the crypto space. So, sometimes, things may not fit certain narratives, but at the end of the day, you actually need these things. Moving on to another project dealing with AI. Now, this is a brand new project that just came out. It had a lot of volatility in the initial launch, which is to be expected when a lot of people, by the way, this is something that a lot of people are interested in. In fact, this is a project that I've heard basically everyone talking about. Like it's just one of those ones where just everyone's talking about this. And what they're doing, this is MAAS, and they're powering the AI revolution with decentralized data and LLMs. LLMs stands for large language models, I believe. It's for AI. It's basically how it like communicates. It needs a language, right? Like I'm talking in English. Well, they need a language. So anyway, long story short, there's a lot of stuff that you could do with this token, but I wanted to bring this up to you because look at this. This basically came out and, it just really just fell a lot. And it sort of looks like it might be stabilizing around the sort of 33-cent area, the 30-cent area. Keep your eyes on this one. Obviously, this has only been out for like 24 hours, but it is an interesting project. I have had a look at this. And, again, this is basically something that will allow you to ultimately get paid to train AI, right? I also heard some people call it like a decentralized Google and stuff like that. So you can do like a whole bunch of things with it. You can build with it. You can also access their LLMs. They have open source, open AI compatible APIs, etc. So yeah, this is obviously something, it might be a little bit more complex, but I do think that as AI continues to grow, I don't think the AI narrative is going away anytime soon. In our life, it's definitely not going away. It's here to stay. Like it's definitely here to stay. But, as far as the narrative right now, I think it's going to continue to be a hot narrative. I don't think that AI is like a flavor of the week thing, right? And again, like we don't know which one of these are, going to be the next major ones, but, having a little bit of allocation to, some of the AI coins, some of the RWAs, some of the BRC20s, things like that. It just helps more of a well-rounded portfolio. And, just again, talking about how people can sort of get thrown out of their position. You guys may remember Injective, and Injective has been huge. I'm not saying you could buy Injective if you want. It's already at a $2.8 billion market cap, pretty high. But Injective was a project that we were talking about literally at the launch, right? And you could see right here, it had gone up to 21 cents and then crashed all the way down to 7, and then eventually ended up being at around $1, right? So this thing has done like a 30x, right? And I'm not saying that it was easy, to have to hold through all this, you could have sold, bought back. But my point I'm trying to say is there are always those projects that do make it out. Like, for example, a lot of projects, what'll happen is they'll come out, they'll have this super awesome peak, and then they will trend down, and they'll stay down, and they'll never come back from here. They will stay there, right? That's why you have to be careful with holding for too long. But, you know, if you've made profits and at least if you've secured your initial capital and you've made profits on those coins, then, you know, you can kind of just leave some as a moon bag, as they say, because, you know, had you, you know, actually had some, or, you know, still holding from down here, you would have done quite well. So, you know, that's just kind of, I'm just using this chart as an example, but, you know, a lot of the altcoins, they never recover from here, right? So that's why you have to have sort of goals, and you have to have, you know, like Kevin Svensson said in yesterday's video, you have to have price targets, but you also have to have time targets. Like, how long do I really want to hold this thing for? What is my goal? Am I just aping into it and just sitting in it forever? You know, so for me, again, the forever position is Bitcoin. Like, I will never sell all my Bitcoin ever. Like, just never, right? Because it's just, why would you do that? But these altcoins, you need to have the strategies, and you need to have, you know when you want to get in and when you want to get out. So I can't hold your hand on that. But another one that we had talked about, ZHII, really just been kind of just chilling. Honestly. It looks like it might be kind of bottoming out around this 3 area. I mean, it's possible. It is trending down, but, you know, we talked about this coin down here, guys. I mean, we were literally I think I was one of the first people, actually, to really talk about this coin. And it did have a pretty good run up. And, you know, it's probably just doing some consolidation right now. But what I think could push it, and again, you know, this is just something that's been happening this year. You know, you have to just wait until the alt season happens. I'm just telling you guys, like, you're just going to be shocked. So GT Protocol, they're having a big platform update incoming. The token utilities are launching on their app, and this is happening on the 24th. So I think that this could be a really good push. Also gives more utility to the token. Obviously, token utility is important outside of speculation. So GT Protocol, that was one of like the first real AI ones that we had ever mentioned, really, since we started talking about altcoins, which I think was like a few months ago. This is definitely one that, you know, I will buy this if it goes lower. I think this does have, actually, it's probably at a, I can't tell you guys. I can't say buy a coin, because then people are going to do it, and then they're going to come back the next day and be like, why is my coin down? Like, I don't know, because it's crypto, guys, because that's what it does. Like, if you can't stomach it, I don't know, go buy a stock or something. Another one that actually was kind of shocking to see this chart right here. I actually thought Bitbits Crunch, you know, well, some of the names, for example, behind it, they have, you know, if you come down here, they have Coinbase Ventures, Animoca Brands, Chainlink, right? So, and Hashkey Capital. So this is another analytics type thing with AI. I do think this will do well. I mean, they have amazing names. It might just be sometimes you get these earlier, you know, these early investors, they get these lockup tokens, the tokens get released, and then they kind of like sell the rips and stuff. But I don't know. I think once that's done, I would be shocked. I mean, this thing is sitting, Coinbase is an investor in this, okay? And this thing is sitting at 12 million market cap. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, it has a fully diluted of 227, but I just think this is like, how is this token not going to move eventually in price, you know? And, you know, obviously a lot of it depends on as they roll things out, but that was one that we had talked about. It did go down, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think it will stay down for too much longer, personally. I think once people start like understanding the narratives of the AI and all that other stuff. Another one that just keeps chopping around, this is, honestly, this right here, this, I don't wanna say it, but this might be like the call. It might be, it might not be, I don't wanna say it, but we talked about this coin down here, right? And it was at around 0.004 cents, right? And it pumped. Maybe it pumped because I talked about it. I don't know. Like, whatever. You know, okay, great. Like, that means people watch the channel. I don't want to be influential like that. But, man, guys, this thing, when you see that, you know, they're building this thing essentially where, for example, like, they have, like, sniper bots. Here, I'll just play this clip for you. Like, just look at what they're doing. Look at the fact that it's been bouncing around, you know, between 0.002 cents and 0.1 cents. So, and it's just been doing this. Like, it's not pumping, it's not dumping, it's just kind of like consolidating. It really makes me think that there is accumulation at these levels. But for example, just like, I'll play the video, but I don't want to turn the sound off because it's probably gonna get copyright, some music in it or something. So you can see, like it says over here, it says in the current market meta where you have, sol and base memes, etc. They've taken the space by storm. The only thing that matters to most is speed, right? So I personally suffer from this problem myself. Like, people think that because I do crypto, I'm in like all these secret groups and I know all this secret stuff. Like, I mean, I do talk to people and I do know things, but I don't like, there's some, I mean, a couple times people, probably shouldn't even say it. I don't know. Like a couple times people have like tried to like get me into these like groups or something. And it's just like crazy. Like it's so degenerate, like so degen that maybe some people, they like that. I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't have time for that. Right. And what they do is they basically allow you to find these trends quicker. Like, for example, they say you can explore recently launched and trending tokens, right? And you can track the top performers. I know that there's other things that do this, but the fact that they'll be able to do this at a quick speed while also being able to trade, and they also have a sniper bot, okay, coming out, or I think it's coming out, yeah, soon. And that'll allow you to sort of set it so that you could get into these things really quickly, right? And sometimes, I mean, if you're into the meme coins, that's a thing you can do. So yeah, I think that this is just one of those very undervalued tools that not a lot of people are really talking about, but I just feel like once they start rolling out a lot more of the products, a lot of people are going to start using on-chain dynamics if they obviously continue to deliver on their promises. And the thing is, this is one of those things where honestly, like, again, I got to stress, not financial advice. Everything I talk about is going to zero, like blah, blah, blah. You guys know, but $2 million market cap. This is like, just, I don't know. This is a real just potential. I can't tell you guys what to do, but just check it out. Obviously I have some of this. I have bought some of this. I've been buying through all of this crap. Like I've been buying the ups and the downs because I just can't imagine this staying at a 2 million market cap for too much longer. But I don't want to give too much, I don't want to give too much love to either things because, then that looks like favoritism or something. But the one that I'm like incredibly, incredibly pumped for is Godzilla and the game that they have coming out, because it is going to be the first video game, essentially blockchain based, which you can have in-game items and NFTs and stuff, and you're going to be able to play it on PlayStation and on Xbox. That's huge. I mean, PC gaming, it's a big market, but I think the bigger market is the consoles that you can play at home. So yeah, they had some news that came out. They're integrating with OpenSea, making it the 9th blockchain to be supported by this leading NFT marketplace. So yeah, guys, as players and OpenSea users alike will be able to trade the in-game items natively. And there's a lot of, like, I've talked to the team actually about this, and it's just very, very cool. Like, really just cool. The game's not out yet, obviously, but this is like the first time I really got that feeling of, yeah, like this could actually bring in the regular people, like, without having to have blockchain or crypto knowledge, right? So I think I'll end there. These are just some of the coins I'm looking at. There's like, honestly, I have a list of probably like 50 of them right now. It's just, you got to be careful like what you talk about, because you just don't know. And as much as I'd like to pretend like I'm some kind of a genius, the reality is I actually don't have really that kind of insider connection. Like I hear things from people and I talk to some people, and some, they'll be like, hey, like this is a really good project, or like I've met with this guy, or I'm going to Dubai next week, so I'll talk to some people. But for the most part, I just want you guys to know that anything I talk about, I also have in my portfolio. So if it doesn't perform well, it's also not performing well for me. Okay. But if it does perform well, then hopefully we both win. And my logic is that, I have my Bitcoin secured, but I have this sort of, I don't want to call it like a gambling portfolio, but it's just more speculative, stuff like that. So that's it for me today, guys. I don't know if I'm going to make tons of altcoin videos. Maybe I will if you guys like this kind of content. It's like, it's safe. When you talk about Bitcoin, it's safe. right? Because Bitcoin is going to probably be here forever. Probably, well, it is going to be here forever, longer than us, at least as long as this planet exists, right? But, you know, these things are speculative. So, you know, you kind of have to go into it hoping for the best, preparing for the worst, I guess, but it's how it is. And, you know, if you have a well-rounded portfolio, you know, you don't have to just, these are just things I'm looking at. I mean, there's like hundreds of different projects we could be talking about. As I find them, as I do more due diligence, I'll bring them to you. But for the most part, you know, just kind of have a little bit of a bag, a little bit of diversity, small percentage, or whatever you're comfortable with, whatever, you know, if you want to go more risky. But, you know, these things, man, like I remember when we first talked about Polkadot. Do you guys remember Polkadot in the last cycle? We made a lot of money on Polkadot, and now it's a blue chip, right? So maybe one of these becomes a blue chip, you know, maybe Lightlink, maybe that becomes a top 30, you know, who knows? You know, gasless, zero transaction, you know, I mean, hey, no, it could be or not, but you know, this one in particular, I think is going to do quite well though, just because, you know, it's just such a first mover advantage. But that's it for me, guys. I have talked for way too long. And oh, before I go, I do just want to let you guys know that I am going to be on Crypto Wars tomorrow. They're going to be doing a giveaway. I don't know. It's a game. So I don't even know what I'm getting into. I hope I don't look like a freaking idiot. I don't know what these questions are going to be. But apparently they're giving away money to the community. Like you can win money. Again, this is not, it's their game. I don't really know like what it's, I don't even know what it's about, honestly, but they invited me on. So if you guys want to follow me over on my Twitter, I'll post that tomorrow, and apparently you can win some money. So I don't know, I guess check it out. Maybe you'll win. So that's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. A little bit of a different video, but hope you guys are having a great day, great night, wherever you are. If you guys are looking for a place to trade, obviously, you know, you can check out these tutorials right here. Also, Blowfin, you know, just pointing it out, they are a pretty popular up-and-coming exchange. I've had a lot of good experience with them, and I've had a lot of people talk about them, so I would definitely check that out. Also, there is still LevX. If you guys are interested, LevX is still, I believe, still running their bonus where they'll match your first $5,000 up in the trade. Don't quote me on that, though. I don't really remember how long that campaign was running. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. Until next time. And I definitely was way late on this because now they're probably popping up, but whatever. Stay crypto. And, of course, peace out, guys.